Among the many COVID tragedies was the advent of Zoom school. If you're not familiar with that, because you don't have children, what ended up happening very early on, right after the 2 weeks to slow the spread, while we were all on lockdown, the schools were closed and would remain closed, and the classrooms went virtual, what they now term distance learning. So essentially, kids stayed home and had classes over Zoom, which is a video conferencing application. Classes were given virtually over the internet, and kids would watch on their home computers, tablets, and smartphones. And parents like me got a unique glimpse into what their children's classrooms were like. Whoa! Let's just say it was a bit of an eye-opener for many parents. Yikes! For the first time, parents got a glimpse as to how bad the American education system has deteriorated. After only about a month of Zoom school, I knew it wasn't for me, and it definitely wasn't for my children. But at the time, I didn't know what to do. Both my wife and I are working parents. The only viable option for us seemed to be homeschool. And what the heck did I know about homeschool? Nothing. I'm a product of the public school system. Before 2020, I thought homeschool families were, well, insane. So my wife and I had the summer of 2020 to figure this out. So my family and the other families that were going through the Great Awakening with us were all trying to figure out what we were going to do with our children in the fall. One of my dearest friends in that group turned us all on to John Taylor Gatto's books, Dumbing Us Down and Weapons of Mass Instruction. If you have school-age children, both of these are must-read books, so that you can get a real perspective of what your options are and better understand the pitfalls of public and private education in America. I cannot recommend Gatto's books highly enough. Links are in the description below. Our K-12 education system in the United States, as it is right now, is an utter failure. But like everything else during the Great Awakening, there is hope. Never lose hope. There are solutions and there are options. Waking up with knowledge, there's an opportunity for us to make it better. I plan on doing an entire mini-series on what I did if there's interest. Think about it as a series to demystify and explain the benefits of homeschool. Let me know if there's interest in the comments and I'm happy to do it with you. Gatto's books criticize the system for its failure in educating our children. Even though his books were written years earlier, he was completely validated during the pandemic when we all got to see what our classrooms were like in Zoom school. Yikes! Now this next little section may piss a few people off, but it really happened. In that summer of 2020, interestingly and fortuitously, because of my work and a few of my colleagues, I was privy to a few video conference calls that included the governor, the mayor, and the Los Angeles Unified Union leadership. At the sacrifice of our children, many of the folks on those calls would speak openly about how they were more interested in making a political statement and make policy that would most likely hinder Donald Trump's 2020 election campaign. And the general consensus was A, that the nation would follow LA Unified, being one of the largest teachers unions in the country, and B, lockdowns would hurt Trump's campaign in the long run. They were more concerned about hurting Trump's campaign than they were about getting the children back into the classrooms. What the heck did the presidential election have to do with my children's education? It kind of makes you wonder if they were concerned about the safety of children at all. Regardless, after listening to these conference calls, it was evident that LA Unified had no intention of reopening the schools in the fall. And there was serious discussion about maintaining social distance learning, or Zoom school, for the entire school year, and possibly the following school year too. And it didn't matter if it was public school or private school, the powers that be were enforcing distance learning. Yet just another example of government abuse and overreach into the private sector. In 2020, physically attending school in the state of California was prohibited. Zoom school was not an option for us, and there was no way I was going to allow my two preteen daughters to miss a year or more of their education. At the time, homeschool became my only viable option. So that's what we did, and I've been happily homeschooling my girls ever since. Never looked back, couldn't be happier. Until next time, like, comment, join, and share, share, share. Remember, everyone wakes up at their own pace, and you are not alone. It's our job to help and educate as many people as possible. God bless America, God bless this podcast, and God bless you. Stay frosty, my friends.